laid back today. I'm laid back today, and
Yes, we are.
people don't understand there's a balance in life that you go hard and then you lay back and you have your time. When you see a sports car, a car out there driving so many miles, there's a time when it sits up in the pit stop or in the shop. They get worked on, the fluids get put in, gets a chance to rest. So for all that we do, there's times when you have to relax and chill and stay home and reflect and get your strength up. And that's, I guess, the mode that we're in most of the time that people don't see. They only see the signature moments of when you're accomplishing this and working so hard. You got to get your chill time. We were talking about that earlier too. You're making me a country boy. You know that, right? I'm straight from New York City, and you're making me a country boy.
How do it?
Huh?
How so?
Well, just the tranquility. There was a time when I wasn't eating too good, and I fell into bad habits, even though I know how to eat good, and the whole bodybuilding thing from years ago. But then I kind of got into the world, and McDonald's and Wendy's and KFC, Burger King, the fish joint down on OBT by 39th, and I was like a crackhead. And you still made good food, but you still accommodated my need to eat that kind of food, and then slowly but surely you worked on me. So now the only time I go into a Wendy's is just to take a leak. But in essence, you cleaned me up from that stuff.
Oh, Lord.
You took me and cleaned me up. Now the blind shall see, the deaf shall hear, the lame shall walk, and the junk food consumer that I was is gone, and now I'm eating back better again, centered, ready for the world. So people have to understand that when they're coming against me, they're fighting against two, but not two, because when two get together and they're on a mission, it's synchronized. It's much more than two. It's a team. And I thank God for the people out there who support and keep this thing going and keep my spirit up. The text messages and the emails. Big shout out to T. Jones and her wonderful mother. I'm putting it right here, official. And every time I do something, I'll start doing shout outs and stuff like that. But keep your head up and keep pushing. You're doing a wonderful job. Never forget that. But yeah, talking about cleaning up, talking about, especially a man, right? We have men out here who, they kind of lost their way, and, they get caught up in the world, and the difference between making them or breaking them maybe is that good woman. I won't even say maybe, it is. I'm not going to say always, but it really makes a difference. But you sometimes have men out here who don't appreciate what they have until it's gone, or they just straight up don't appreciate it. And kudos to the women out there who do right by their men, and there's nothing wrong with you when the man does you wrong. You just invested in the wrong person. So don't let that get you down. Don't let that make you become a man hater. I thank God that you're not a man hater right now, Mrs. SCURV. Many women can look back and find a reason why their heart was broken and say, you know what? I hate men. They're no good. They're all dogs. And they waste their most precious years, 30s into their 40s, going into their 50s, babbling about no good men. And the good men hear that and want nothing to do with them. So they're pushing a good man away from them. But it's a cycle that begins, and somebody has to stop it. What would you suggest? Tell me from your observation about the men out here who don't appreciate. They don't want to hear me talk.
No, but the thing about it is not that it's only men. You have women that goes through that too. Because I've been there, done that. You take somebody up in your life, or they will say they take you up in their life, but I consider myself taking somebody up in my life, and you're young and you get married and all these things and settle down, have kids, and even do whatever it takes to make it work. Helping, you're your husband, you're married to him, you help him so he could get straight in the country and all that stuff. And it's a hard thing that hits you in the heart, especially when you care about somebody so much, you together all these years, you have kids together, and for me as a person, whatever I say I'm going to do, I follow through. And when you go through that, and it doesn't matter how the person is treating you at the time, I'm the type of person, I am going to follow through to the end. Try to make things work. And, if in the end doesn't work, I still know that I did my part, but it's for me, it's really hard when you take somebody help and try to make them be happy and do all the good things to them to make both of you happy and your family happy. But then they turn around and kick you in the butt. And that's a hard thing to deal with. And whether it's a man or a woman, because we have women out here that do the same thing to a good man. And a lot of good men are hurting inside. They ache inside. They have feelings just like us as a woman. They feel pain in their heart when we hurt them. Just like when they hurt us, we aching in our heart. And for me, it was like a stab in my heart at the time. I'm over that. I'm done with that. I have a very wonderful husband who loves me, and I love him, and he treats me very well, and I'm happy with him. But it's a hard thing because right now I have a friend that is going through the same situation that I have been through, and I'm here for her. And I tell her I'm here for her whenever she needs me, anytime. She have my number. I'm right here. Just give me a call, because I can relate to that situation. And it's not an easy one. And right now I know what she's going through. I feel her pain. And I know it's not only her. There's a lot of women out there that's going through this pain. And I say as well as men from experience. So, it's a hard thing to deal with. And there's a lot of people that I've known that have gone through worse, But for me right now, I can say God is good, and I'm grateful to him. Because of him, that's why I'm here. And I can tell you right now, if you're going through all of this, and no matter what is the situation, you're going through all this pain, and you're feeling it so hard. But let me tell you something. Never give up. Hold your head high up. And let the other person see you. That you never give up. And you're always going to put God first in your life. And let it be. And do never hate that person that hurt you the most. Just thank God for life and just move on. It's hard, but at the end of the day, you'll get over it.
That's right.
It's...
Wow, those are some powerful words you just shared. And the thing is, from what I see, it just compounds. It's like a person gets hurt. From what I see, and these are grown behind people, right? And they have emotions, but it's like they get hurt, and all of a sudden, like I said before, all men are bad or all women are bad, and they lump you into these categories, and they find other friends just like them that went through the same thing, and they have their pity parties, their anger parties, and when they see something that's working out, they suck their teeth, because now they have to change their whole narrative now, because if they see a couple really getting along, right, it's like, uh-oh, all men aren't bad, or the men who see the women and say, or good women and say, all women are not bad, see? And sometimes, for example, and this is not every case, but you have those grandmothers, you have those aunts, you have those neighbors who look back on their life and they say, man, in a resentful way, they look back and they say, you know what, this didn't work out for me, all men are this way. And they get that young niece or that grandchild, granddaughter, or neighbor, or somebody in the church, and they appear to be okay, but then when they start to give them advice on love, they bring their own toxic, tainted view to that person's innocent mind and twist them around. And in a sense, it's like they're crossing their fingers in hopes it never works out for them. Or they will say that on the surface, but deep down it pisses them off even more because they've gotten to an age and they can look back on 30, 40, 50, 60 years, not because things didn't work out, but there's the way that they dealt with it and they still hold the venom. Because, you know, we are, I won't say sold the idea, but when we're younger, society, you know, tells you basically in the back of your mind, and most people who have lived on this earth and in this life for so many decades would agree that the life you're in now may not be the life that you thought you were going to be in when you were 15 or 20 years old or 18 years old. When you're a certain age, depending on your experiences, because some of us go through traumatic experiences, even as teenagers or even preteens, that would change our outlook on that. But pretty much, you know, every little girl one day, for the most part, deep down inside, wants to have that white picket fence, wants to have that home and the 2.4 cars, as they say it is. You know, they want to have these things, and it may not be exactly like that because we're the sum total of our experiences, and you know, our experiences and our upbringing mold what we want out of life. But for the most part, life happens, and we catch our scars, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and that's what kind of puts us in the place that we're in because, you know, it's hard. Look, life is not easy. You got to pay bills. You know, I mean, you know, when you're home, if you had the luxury of growing up at home with parents, guardian, whoever, a structured environment, that's one thing. But when you're not prepared for it, you know, and I look at a lot of these younger kids out here now that are not prepared for life. They're not getting the fundamentals. They find out as they go. And on that, saying that much, with love, relationships, the time that it takes. Yes, sex feels good. Yes, sex is a blinder, and for many a drug and an escape. True. But what about, you know, the basics on how do we deal with our emotions, keep ourselves in check, build a future for ourselves, and get ourselves ready for that one? We have more than enough time, but lots of times we make the poor choices. Yeah. You know, we choose what because we're not equipped. I'm not blaming the person for making a poor choice because, you know, you'll have people out there that say, oh yeah, well, you chose it. Well, you weren't equipped. So you got to go back down the lineage and say, well, you know, the fault is not mine. I came to this world as an empty slate, you know?
It's really hard. That's why, you know, a lot of times when you talk to someone that been in a similar situation that you have been in, you know, and they say, well, for instance, they turn to drinking or smoking or drugs. I always try to encourage them, you know, try to, you know, talk to them about my situation and their situation. And I really can't tell you not to do these things, but it would, for me, I will tell you that what you're doing now to yourself, that's not going to help me if I do that. So it's not going to take the problem away.
Right.
When you get drunk or you take drugs or you turn to smoking, it's not going to take away the problem because as soon as you finish, the problem is right there. You at least think that it's gone, but in a few minutes, it's right back. You know, you're feeling it again. So, you know, you should just think about trying to get something else in your life to entertain you, something that makes you happy, you know, to take away that pain. You know, when I was going through that situation, I was working, and I was working a full-time job and a part-time job, you know, just to make sure that my kids were okay, you know, taken care of and everything. And at the same time, I was trying to talk to my kids and trying to encourage them and give them the best advice that I could as a mom, you know, and make sure that they were not doing the bad things that they weren't supposed to do. I think that I did a pretty good job. You know, it would be nice if their father was there at the time, you know, to help. But that didn't happen, and you know, I sometimes have to call on my brother sometimes to help, talk to the boys especially. And then when my husband SCURV came in my life, he was a part of that. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for everything. And as I can say, I am really grateful to God, because he is the one that holds me up. He gives me all the strength that I need at the time. So, you have to try to encourage others, and try to help them in any way you can, because you know what they are going through at the time, so you can relate to that situation. So that's the only reason why I can really talk to someone that goes through the same situation or a similar situation that I have been through, and right now I'm glad that I can able to talk about it, because I'm over it. I'm over it, and I'm grateful. I never break myself down because of it, because first when I was going through it, I talked to God about it. That's who I went about it, because I figure that's the only thing that I could turn to at the time, and every time in my life anyway, and I know that I'm going to hear from him. If no one else answers me, I know he's going to give me my breakthrough. So
why didn't you call me? You could have called me.
Yeah, you're so funny. You're so funny. But sometimes a lot of us don't really understand what's really going on in people's minds. Like me as a female, and you are a male, and sometimes, even though we wife and husband, sometimes, you go through things that I can't, I can't relate to, because you are a male and I'm a female, and it would be nice, to in our community, like, us as Black people, if we all were getting together, get to know each other, we could come together and do the right thing, we would have a better community.
Heaven on earth.
Because you know what? We would be doing so well, and a lot of us, our marriage wouldn't be falling apart, our family wouldn't be falling apart. We will hold it down, with our kids, and our marriage, and then, it would be a better world for us. Because we are doing the right thing, and each other, counseling each other, and doing the right thing. We wouldn't need to go to no therapy, where we would be our own therapy.
Right.
So, it's for me right now, I think that we all need to really look on our lives and really come together as one, and try to treat each other with respect, whether you're a man or a woman. All of us should come together. We have children, and all our children, everyone should be, doing so well. Everybody grow up together. The kids, they get to know each other, do things together. Each parents by their name, each kids by their name, and all this stuff. And it would be a better world for us. We wouldn't have, some things happen, and everybody made mistakes and all this stuff. But the drugs wouldn't be so bad. The guns wouldn't be like on the street like this, because we are not coming together, and a lot of our kids, they don't feel the love, they don't feel the want, like they are not wanted, and if all of us was doing this together, and our kids know they are loved and wanted, then it would be a better world for us. You see what I'm saying? We would be coming together. We would be gathering together. This is a Friday evening, and a lot of us will be gathering to places and doing things together, things that are important, and the kids that would be learning better. We would have more intelligent kids, and we as Black people, we are very intelligent. We know so much. God has made us so strong and powerful, and we can't let they take that away from us. We have to be strong, and we have to make God be proud of us, to see us stand up, for right, and stand up for him. He died for us. Why not we be standing up as Black people? How strong and powerful we are. How much power God gave to us. He is the most powerful one, but he has gave the power to us. but we are not doing it.
Right.
We are not doing it. We know better. We can do better. And not to let these people stay aside and think that we are worthless. We don't worth nothing. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. You know, we should be building up each other. You know, it's nothing like seeing my brothers and sisters doing good. You know, it's such a wonderful and awesome thing to see a brother or a sister building for themselves, doing stuff for themselves, you know, come together. You know what kind of community we could have if we all just come together and live right and see each other prospering and doing well?
That's right. Immediate amplification.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It would be like life changing. It would be awesome. You know, what a world.
But the oppressive forces that benefit from us being at each other's necks and separate and decaying as a community and as a family, as a neighborhood, as a people, they benefit from that. And so they sit back and let the chaos continue. And this is a self-fulfilling thing. We just continue it on and we don't see it. We're doing the mad grab for the materialism. We're doing the mad grab for the false status in this oppressive order, and we turn our noses up at each other. It should be a victory for one is a victory for all. But we're so caught up in the one-man upmanship or the one-woman upmanship. It's a game of I want to get more than you, and I win when I get more than you, and you're on your own, and to hell with you. See, it's not a genuine love anymore like it used to be. Like what you just described was awesome. You're bringing tears in my eyes, but it's the truth. And I remember more of that years ago growing up in New York City in my particular neighborhood. We had our crazy people and things going on, but at the end of the day, there was that love that we had for each other. Even if we didn't say it, we showed it. The block parties, the neighborhoods where I knew the names, the first names of all the parents, even though I didn't call them by that. I knew what they did for a living. I knew what all 39 houses on my one block looked like on the inside, and I felt at home, some more than others, you know what I mean? But, you know, you knew each other, and as soon as you hit that block, even before, you felt at home. You never felt locked out when you were locked out and forgot your key. Right. There was always somebody to go to that would feed you. You'd sleep on their couch and fall asleep. You didn't even want to go home. You'd wake up like, I don't even want to walk across the street, you know? And it was that thing. And I tell you, at 53 years old, down here in Orlando, honestly, it hurts me to see that world really doesn't exist on the deeper levels that it used to. See, so I can't blame the youth. They're only following through on what we have done. Right. I'm not going to say you or I, but grown folks left this mess for them. So what do you expect them to do? So this is why they don't respond to us, because they don't see us reaching out to them. They don't see us leaving something for them, building a legacy for them. You know, they get to a certain day, you better get yours, so. Nah. We look at the Koreans when they come here and open up a fruit market, and they have the father and the mother who don't speak an ounce of English, but the kids do. So they have the kids working in the daytime, and at night they will work, and one of the older kids work at night to be able to translate. And they send their money back, and they build what they build here. They have the kids going to school. It's one unit. Your children should be part of. Your children shouldn't have to go out and work for somebody else. Right. You should have enough sense to give up that Cadillac, give up that Lexus, give up all of those bags or that jewelry or those nights out or getting your hair did or whatever it may be, and say, let me build a structure. Yeah, that's what I'm going to get my hair did. Girl on the bus the other day, what you mean? Talking to her aunt on the phone, what you mean I got to go to the doctor? I ain't got no money to go to the doctor. I got to get my hair did. And she'll be a nice looking corpse, a cadaver, a dead body in a coffin with her hair did, and didn't check the fact that she had maybe something going on in her colon or a liver or her kidneys. But
that's the other thing about it. That part of it is because of not having someone to try from the beginning to help her. You know, it's not her fault. It comes down to all of us not doing her job.
Right. We're all guilty.
We all are guilty for that, because if we were doing her job, then her kids wouldn't be talking like that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They wouldn't be talking like that. They wouldn't be doing the things that they are doing. And that's our responsibility. And because we never live up to our responsibility that God has put us here for, because we don't realize that God has given us a responsibility. When we take up that role of saying we're going to be parent and we don't follow through and do the right thing, then it's on us.
But you know, you have, and you did a wonderful job. But you know,
but it comes down to all of us are responsible. That's why I'm saying that if all of us have been coming together and doing the right thing and stand up to our responsibility, and every kid know that Mr. Brown over there, you have to respect Mr. Brown, and you know that if you do something bad out there, Mr. Brown is going to correct you. It would be a better community. But because it's not like that, if Mr. Brown say something to your child is going to curse Mr. Brown out, plus the parent going to come over
Mr. Brown
and
out too.
curse Mr. Brown out, which is not right. And growing up, you have to put the Mr. and the Mrs. in front of everybody's name.
That's right.
Now everybody call everybody just by their first name, no respect behind it. And I think that's where we fall short, because we are not doing our job. So a lot of times we can blame these kids, but it comes down to us. It's our fault. So we have to think about those things, and we have a big responsibility. And now we really need to look into our lives and see where we are going, and because when the day of judgment comes and God calls on us, what we going to tell him,
right.
Because we are responsible for all these kids and we didn't stand up to that standard. So now we're going to face judgment. So, that's where we fall short. And right now, while we are breathing, we have a lot to think about right now.
You're right. And you see, lots of times I think too, that there are things, I won't say curses, right? But it's the term that they use, the generational curses. I'll say generational toxicities, generational situations that get passed down from one generation to the next, and families need to speak about these things. I've seen families where they just don't speak about these things. They play pretend, and we'll get up and go to church, and we'll get up and act this way and that way. But when they encounter a certain situation, it touches a nerve, and that outwardly normal family, whatever that means, normal, right? Because there is no normal in my book. All of a sudden they explode. It's like when you attend a funeral and family secrets come out because emotions are stirred, and there's a shift in that family because that one person was removed. If it was the person who held down the bills and held down a position in the family where they made sure that they were the ones that were, they might have been an empath and they were an emotional buffer for the whole family. Now they're removed. Now all the elements that were kept at a safe distance because of that person who was used as a spacer, like when you space tiles and use a tile spacer, right? They're gone. So now we have these rough edges rubbing against each other, and you could have people pulling out knives at each other during funerals, rolling around and cussing and damning, and it's all about money, whatever. So that's really what was under it all. And that person kept that away. You see? So you have different energies. So we have to really look at our own situations and break down what it is in our own families or communities, and even ultimately within ourselves. If we walk straight, the other members of our family and extended family have no choice but to walk straight. So sometimes you will be demonized as the one who is setting off that new rhythm, that new course, that if you straighten up, it's like living in a house with a bunch of people who like to eat just about anything. They don't care about their health. They're obese. They're borderline diabetic. They just have all kind of problems that they brought on themselves because of the way they ate. Now, You're the one who's buying all the groceries and preparing all the food, and you say, I'm changing the way I eat. Guess what? They have no choice but to, but they may not want to. They may be stuck in their own way, so they have a problem with you. But it's ultimately for their good also. So that was an analogy that I used about food, but what about other types of behavior? And going back to the generational toxicities I was speaking about, or generational dysfunctions, you have that uncle who does wayward things to the nieces and the nephews, but nobody talks about it. You have that aunt who's very hateful or do anything to sabotage her sister or brother's kids. You have that grandmother, you have that mother-in-law, we have a lot of these things going on, but we push it to the back of our mind, and we still try to operate out in the world on a so-called normal level. And we wonder why we can't operate on a normal level, because we haven't dealt with those things on the inside. So for me, for everybody to have a brutally honest conversation with themselves, with their family, with the world, is a healthy thing to do, because it may be painful, but it will leave you relieved, and it will leave you with a firm emotional, mental, physical foundation from which to stand on and grow and build a wonderful community and ultimately have a wonderful life. You can't have a wonderful life with a poor foundation if you don't want to deal with things. Look, it hurts to have a tooth pulled out of your head. Even when they shoot the painkiller in the gums, still, mentally, you waiting for the pain. It's very uncomfortable. But once you pull that tooth, it's a lot better than being afraid to have it pulled and living the rest of your days with a toothache that just won't go away. Deal with it now, it's gone forever. Don't deal with it, you'll never have a chance at a normal life. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I know. I see. They heard you. Let's wrap it up. Yeah, because we gotta go.
No.
But,
we'll talk about if anyone, if they want to talk about it, or we can have a show about it. And because it's very important. It's very, very important that we really talk about it. I just wish we all would come together. It would be awesome to see all of us doing things together. We should have our own everything. I just believe in that. We have so much power. We are so powerful. We need to have everything for ourselves. Our own land, our own stores, our own it would be awesome for us to have everything for herself and doing for herself, so we don't have to worry about nobody else, and they don't have to worry about us, because we'll be doing all things by herself, and then they don't have nobody to blame but themselves when we are gone and we're doing our own things.
Make America great again.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
When was it ever great?
That's what I want to know. But if all of us was coming together, we have our own everything, and we're doing everything for ourselves. Trust me, the power that we have, the strength that God has given to us, we could remove mountains. I'm telling you. We just don't know it. But in this world that we're living in, but I'm just hoping and praying that there's hope.
Oh, yeah, there's always hope.
There's hope.
That's what you're living for. That's what you're alive for.
There's hope. But we're going to wrap it down. And
you almost had a Jesse Jackson moment when he was over there talking about when the mic was still hot. And he said, I'll cut his nuts off. Talking about Barack Obama. I'm glad you didn't say anything bad like that. I had to delete this out. No. I'm not. I know. But we do have to go. I didn't realize it was so late. We got to do some stuff. They'll probably hear this after we do the live show tonight. We're going to speak about Charlotte, North Carolina. And I still have to retitle that because I put it a different way. And then we'll head on out and we'll come back on in. Okay. And I'll straighten up this mess of a room.
What mess? It's not messy.
Well, it's not messy, but I gotta get the camera angles right and everything like that. But for people that are out there, like you said, sweetheart, who want to discuss these types of situations, even anonymously, toss us a topic. Go deep. And even if I know who it is, I'm not going to blow it up and say, well, this person, this is their name. No, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to do it like that. Shoot me an email, scurvmedia@gmail.com. It's all over the place. You can look down below and you can see it. Or you can text me, 407-924-8793. 407-924-8793. And just let them know. If you want to call late, if I'm up, you can do so. Don't be scared, Mr. SCURV, right? It's okay. Sometimes they call me 2, 3, 4 in the morning. If I'm up, I'm going to pick up. So there are a lot of women out there. I don't want to disrespect your wife because so-and-so. This is what I do. She's right here with me. So, I mean, if I'm up, I'll pick up. And we'll talk about even the most hurtful topics or things you want to really hear from other people, because you may have a situation that you think you're the only one. And just give me 60 seconds, sweetie. You might think you're the only one, and you say, well, Lance, put this out there and let me hear the feedback on that. And understand that you'll always have that 10% of people who leave comments that are very cruel. Ignore them. You have courage to speak about things.
Right.
And you stand up and you speak about things on whatever level you want. Like I said, you can just give me a topic and don't have to say anything. Or you can say, hey, Lance, I want to call you and tell you live with my voice and I'm going to name names. Hey, if you want to do it that way too, you know how far you can go.
Yeah, we want to hear from y'all, and if y'all want to talk about this, we can have a show about it. If you want a show or whatever you want to do, I'll be right here. If you need to talk,
there you go.
We'll be here and we can talk. If you have any question, whatever, and
gets no better than that.
Yeah. So.
Heck, there's things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
Okay, take care now. Bye. Love you guys.
Download the app. Subscribe to LANCESCURV.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at LANCESCURV.com and follow SCURV on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under LANCESCURV.